Today I want to talk about, well, this is technically a dining room. It's what it used to be. It's my plant room. It is the largest room I have here for the plants. And hello, welcome. I call the channel the Jungle Nook. Hello and welcome. I call the channel the Jungle Nook, and today I want to talk about how my plant room functions. This is the largest room in the house that I use for the plants. I call it the Nook, and in this video we're going to talk about the lighting as well as how I control and regulate the temperature, humidity, airflow, and we'll even get into pest prevention a little bit too in this video. So usually I'm walking around getting close-ups of the plants and stuff while I'm making these videos, but I just got home from work and most of my day I was actually running a weed whacker today, so my hands are real shaky. Do something a little different. But as far as the lighting's concerned, as you see, mine's up at the ceiling, and I did that because I don't want to see the lights or all the cables and cords and stuff, so I put it up at the ceiling. I also have it, they're positioned in the center of the ceiling. I did that so that all the plants, as they're growing, they grow out towards the light, and they're all, no matter where I am in the room, all the leaves, they're facing me because the lights are not only at the ceiling, but they're in the center of the center too. But these lights here, like your LEDs and all your other grow lights, the manufacturer recommends that they be 18 inches above the plant so that the light is at its peak intensity touching the leaf, which is at 18 inches above, but obviously mine are much higher up. So what I do to compensate for that is I leave the lights on longer. With that said, I did just make a video called My Lighting Explained. The thing to understand about lighting or light and photosynthesis is that although plants do only engage in photosynthesis when they're in the light, plants are not always able to engage in photosynthesis while they're in the light. I talked about that in the other video as well as some other things. It was all about my lighting concept here. I'd highly recommend that. I'll put a box up at the end of this in the corner. The video, you can watch it. There'll be a lot more information and in-depth, detailed information on the lighting in that video. But I'm using fluorescent tubes. I don't like LEDs. I don't like the pinks and purples and all those different colors that come out. These are fluorescent grow tubes. I'll put in the description exactly what they are and where you can get them from. I get them from Walmart for about $150. So yeah, that's my lighting. It's at the ceiling. It's in the center of the room. I got to leave it on real long because I have them so far up above the plants. Let's see, temperature. So for temperature control, I guess I do need to walk around with this camera a little bit. But for temperature, I have central air and I have forced air. So right now it's 80 degrees in here. I hope that's showing up. And if you look, it's actually set to 80. I keep this room, the central air, there's air conditioning in here, but I leave it at 80 so the room don't get no warmer than 80 degrees. And, over here at this window, I got one vent where the heat comes out right under this window. And across the room, that window has the same size little vent, but there's one on each side of that window. And I keep my heat at 80, or my air conditioning, I keep it set to 80 because that's a good temperature for tropical plants. When you get it to about 85 or above, the plants really don't like that. And this way my central air is not kicking on too much because I really don't want that cold air blowing on the plants. But that is how I also have airflow. I don't have to use fans or nothing in here because my humidity doesn't get real high. I just shut this curtain right here And I keep this section of the house at 80. I mean, it's central air, so the whole house, when it's running, the whole house is getting cooled. I have a couple of smaller air conditioning units that I use in like the room where the sitting room and stuff where the television is and the bedrooms and stuff. So I can keep them rooms cooler. So yeah, I'm just using my furnace, my forced air. It's actually over here. The furnace is just right around the corner here. It's right in here. And it sucks air in, you know. There's a little filter in here. It sucks the air in and it blows it out those vents, and I have airflow. I keep the temperature to 80 degrees. In the winter, I try to keep it to at least 70. So that's temperature and airflow. I don't like using fans because I don't really want like a wind or breeze or anything in here, because that's how different types of spores and stuff can get spread. Insects can get moved around the room more easily that way. So I don't really use fans. Now my humidity, I have really low humidity. It is spring. We are finally getting hot days. It's been raining. So here's my humidity. This is the humidity inside of the house. It's 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 51% humidity in this room. There's a little sensor, this little thing you can put outside too to know what's going on outside. I put it into another room, one of my fish rooms. It's 83 in that room. It's usually this room's I have the air conditioner. But it's 83 in that room, but the humidity is 59, and that's because I have a lot more fish tanks in that room. That's how I control my humidity here. Here's a 75-gallon tank. It is not completely covered. I don't even know what size that tank is over there. It's only partially covered. I got a 10-gallon tank here. It's not covered at all. And this tank here is only partially covered. That's a 55-gallon tank. But this room here is for tropical houseplants, and it does rain every day in a tropical rainforest. And the plants from these tropical areas, most of them, you know, they have developed over time because of where they live, raining every day. Their root structure, the plant itself, is used to it getting a drink every single day. So I water my plants every day. I do a lot of light waterings, a lot of frequent light waterings. And that helps to keep the humidity up too in this room. You lose a lot of moisture out of your pots from humidity, but also the entire time your plant's engaging in photosynthesis, it's also consuming water as well. And I need my plants to be well hydrated so they are continuously engaging in photosynthesis. The fertilizers are important too, which I also discussed that in the that lighting video. I make sure I have the proper amount of nutrients for these plants at all times, as well as the proper amount of moisture within the pot at all times, so they are able to engage in photosynthesis the entire time they are in light. Sorry if I'm rushing. I kind of have some time restraints. As far as the lighting's concerned too, I do have a light meter. And these windows really do provide quite a bit of light. Even when I turn these lights off, it might not seem like a lot of light, but when I use that meter, light scatters. So I do get light through these windows. It's not sufficient though. And if it wasn't for the windows, neither would these lights up here be sufficient either. My grow lights supplement the natural light. Or I have so many grow lights and I'm getting more. I mean, maybe my windows are supplementing the artificial light, but where was I? What was I saying? Oh, so I do have a light meter. When all these grow lights are on and the sun is out, this room is getting adequate light, but at the low end. So that is why I have to run these lights all day long, so that the plants can engage in photosynthesis and get the starches, sugars, fats, proteins, the amino acids and everything that they need. Things that they're not getting from the soil, the nutrients and stuff, and the trace elements, things like that. The reason that these lights these windows aren't very efficient is because of the positioning of the house, as well as all of these trees, which completely surround the house, or at least these sets of windows. Even over here, I'll show you again. I know I'm just walking back and forth. So we talked a little bit about lighting. I told you how I'm taking care of my temperature control, how I maintain my humidities with all the fish tanks, the frequent watering. See all the trees? Like, it's just crazy, all these trees. So now let's talk real briefly about pest control. You might notice a lot of my leaves are real nice and shiny. That's because I use this product here. This is neem oil. It's a insecticide, fungicide, and milicide. It's great for pest control. It gets absorbed right into the plant. It's all natural, comes from the neem tree. I use this to keep my leaves shiny, but it also helps control a bunch of pests. But it is also an oil, which I have now come to realize that oil is helping to condition the leaves to help prevent them from drying out. And most of my plants in this room, they are thicker. The leaves are thicker, as opposed to like a fern or something. I do have ferns, but they struggle a little bit over the winter. But the thicker the leaf, the better they are, the more suitable they are to handle slightly lower humidity. My humidity usually stays around 40 to 50%, but spring and fall, sometimes it will jump up into the 60s. I used to try to regulate my humidity with humidifiers, but I have well water, a lot of calcium and stuff in it, and I had to constantly clean them out. They would stop working. It was too much of a headache. Plus, once you run out of water in that humidifier, the humidity level just plummets, and you do not want wild fluctuations with your humidity. You want it, whatever it is, to try to be as steady as possible, as stable as possible. And I don't spray my plants neither, because when you spray your plants, it's only while you're physically spraying them is the humidity going up. As soon as you're done, that humidity level just plummets. Plus you can have water spots and things on your leaves, especially me with the calcium, all the calcium. I was spraying my plants, and boy, I did that I sprayed them a bunch of times and everything was dull. It took me well over a month every week coming through, wiping stuff down with distilled water until I was able to get that calcium off the leaves. What a nightmare. But having well water and having hard water, I do have a lot of minerals and stuff, and it's actually nutrients right in my water. It's almost like rainwater, actually a little bit better than rainwater. Rainwater actually has nutrients in it. So anyway, back to pest control with that neem oil. Other things that help me with pest control in here is I do not open my windows. I have central air, so I don't open my windows. So that helps to prevent pests from getting into this room. And I also, because I don't open them, I remove the screens and I clean my windows several times a year to let more light come through. Wiping them down with that neem oil not only makes them shiny and healthy, but helps the plant to engage in photosynthesis because the leaves are cleaner, more light's hitting the leaf. So just to recap here, a humidity level for most of your tropical plants between 50 to 60%, really good. Anything below 40, that can cause things in your house to dry out, like wood and other materials can actually dry and shrink. And I think it's anything above 70 or 80% humidity, somewhere around there, that's where you're promoting molds and mildews. So in reality, a humidity between 50 to 60% is great and it's comfortable. A temperature you know, between like 72 degrees Fahrenheit up to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere in that range is really good too. All for promoting good, healthy growth on your plants. And also for pest control, that neem oil that I use, that's great because it gives a lot of different types of protection. It's just a little bit of protection, but there's also other benefits too, you know, like it's conditioning the leaves, it's making them shiny, you're keeping the leaves clean. It's real easy to keep up with that product because the leaves look so nice when you use it. So it's you know, it motivates you to do it. There's so many benefits. I love neem oil. Another reason why I don't like spraying my plants, like I said, it leaves little water droplets afterwards, and that's a great source of water for insects, which can help to increase their population. Real high humidity, that's great for them as well. So in reality, the humidity level for most tropical plants, keeping it between 40 and 50% is great for them. Just remember, whatever your humidity level is, try to keep it steady. If you do have really high humidity, that's when you might want to use fans, but you don't want a lot of wind flow. You don't want to see your leaves moving because that can help pests migrate throughout your plant room. As far as pest control, you guys, just, you know, don't set, like with anything, don't set unrealistic goals. If you have a plant room, something similar to this, or a room with a lot of plants, you're gonna have pests. Don't try to eradicate them 100%. Like I can walk around and show you spider mites and a bunch of stuff, and I'm not running around trying to clean them up right at the moment. You just wanna keep them under control so that there's no signs of stress or damage to your plants. Just try to keep them under control. That's my advice for pests. You know, keeping the windows closed and all the little things that I do, you know, all these little things that help a little bit, it all adds up at the end. But yeah, so this is, you know, it might look uncomfortable, but you know, I'm telling you, the temperature, the humidity level, it's not uncomfortable. I mean, it is a greenhouse. Like, I mean, it really is a greenhouse in so many ways. But it's not stuffy, it's comfortable, it's not that hard to maintain as long as you keep the plants nice and healthy. I have a whole playlist, Tropical House Plants, Tips and Tricks. Check it out. You might be surprised. I take a lot of effort to try to explain things so that you understand what the plant needs and you can understand what you can do to meet those needs. It got dark in here, huh? So yeah, I really do need the grow lights. Now, this window over here for about 3 hours in the morning, it really does put quite a bit of light that goes all the way over to the center of the room. And this is as much room as as much light as this window provides. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock. Oh, and pest control, I'll show you guys something. I have resident spiders. I don't know if this will actually make it into the video, but yeah, I will periodically, you know, make the spider move and I clean up the web. Look at all the insects. And I do this every week or so. Like, all the windows have it. A few of the plants have them. But yeah. So yeah, the room's actually pretty dark without those grow lights. So this is the conclusion of the video. Guys, hey, hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Leave me a comment. I'm a small channel. I can pretty much answer all your questions, or just leave a comment. It helps the channel out.